welcome to this week's Spinfoil Theory. We're about to take a dive into another mystery from the lore of Destiny the Game. Specifically, we'll be giving high-level scrutiny to popular, emerging, and outlying theories than judging them. If you have any questions or theories of your own, write to us at spinfoiltheory@gmail.com or visit us over at spinfoiltheory.com. And now, let's put on our spinfoil hats and get a little crazy. Here comes this week's show.
We're so cool, look at us.
Well, guys, welcome to the Spinfoil Theory podcast. This is your host, Taylor-B, with also host, LadyLucida. How are you doing, lady?
Pretty good. Just vibing, you know?
Yeah?
Just vibing.
Groovy. So, this week's theory, I kind of want to dive right in because it's just been so much fun to kind of like look into it and see how like the back and forths on Twitter.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. I've seen a lot of that.
Yeah, so I want to go ahead and I'm going to spill the beans. This week's theory is as first came to my attention was brought up by Mylan at Mylan Games, and it was Shin Malphur versus Shayura. A Praxic Warlock, most famous from Trials armor, but I'm not. Is that the only? I think she may have been mentioned elsewhere, like at first, but yeah, that's like the first place. That's where she's most famous. The similarities between them being, in particular, Shayura's Wrath. In the text, by a hunter, she is hunting. No pun intended. But a guardian that she's hunting down for using Stasis compares her to, says you're no better than the Dredgen. No better than Malphur.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, and so a lot of discussion, and I think that's something that maybe came with Trials this season or like more recently, but I'm not 100% there. Like I don't get a lot of Trials time.
It was this season, the Shayura's Wrath SMG that was added this season. Talked about it.
And by the way, guys, if in this case we're trying our best with the names. If you know how something is pronounced, just please add us and share. Like, thank you in advance. We'll probably thank you afterward too. But like, yeah, a lot of times. Well, it's not even that you're bad. Like, we're just trying our best. Like, you know, I sometimes I try to Google names and see if it comes from maybe a certain place on Earth, you know what I mean? And see how it's like meant to be pronounced. And I gotta tell you, like, sometimes I just don't know. My Google foo, maybe it's my Google foo, but like sometimes I just can't find out. So yeah, if you know, like, please share. We'll say it correct. But yeah, so this one is very fun for me. You know, you got a Praxic Warlock.
Who's killing people who use Stasis.
Use the darkness.
And then you have Shin Malphur, who's kind of doing the same thing, right?
Well, I feel like yes and no, right? Because they're both their goals. I will say this. Both their goals seem to be aligned in the way that they're trying to, one way or the other, they're trying to manipulate Guardians to not be tempted by darkness.
Well, I think with Shin Malphur, he's okay with people using darkness, just as long as they don't, like, there's like a line. There's a line. If you don't cross this line. If you cross this line, you are gonna get killed by the man with the golden gun. Otherwise, you're 100%. Fine, because his whole thing was about balance, I think. Like, it's okay, like, kind of like what Elsie said to us in the Beyond Light campaign, everybody has a little bit of dark in them. So yeah.
So do you think what you're saying, that what Shin was trying to do was more of like a checks and balances type of thing? Because yes. I think that's really interesting, especially given his sort of cowboy persona, right?
Yes, I feel like he's kind of trying to make sure people kind of stay more in the middle, or kind of like lead people to be more Like, you don't want people that are like the Praxic warlocks that are, kind of crazy.
Shin don't like them Praxics.
I wouldn't say, kind of. Like, they're like zealots for the light. And then, but he also doesn't want people to be like, there was this one hunter or warlock that Anor was hunting, and they literally in trials matches would like use the void and like reach into people and be like, and do all this like crazy torture stuff. Like, that's too far. Like, Saint stopped the trials match. It was crazy.
Well, but the void isn't even like, that's a light power.
Well, she was using that, and then eventually later on, she ends up falling to stasis, this person. If I remember correctly.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
So she was already, like, teetering that edge of... Because this was a lot of the, like... Even before we had stasis, there were still guardians who used the light for nefarious and dark purposes.
And there were guardians who had wielded the darkness. I mean, ourselves, the guardian included. We just it hadn't been a risen power for us. But we
acquired
thorn. You were shooting people with darkness with the thorn.
Yeah, it's like a different type of darkness than
or like
stasis.
A different application. Yeah, like a different application. Yeah, same page.
Yeah, so like. I don't know. I feel like, because Shin is like kind of, if there's Praxic warlocks around, he's kind of like, no, we don't need those guys. Not that we don't need them. It's just like they're a little too zealot.
Yeah, they drank the Kool-Aid.
They drank the Kool-Aid. Then there's also people on the opposite end who think darkness is the bee's knees and everything like that, and those people are bad too. He's basically saying there's this area that's, think of it like a spectrum. You got go from like white to dark, white to black spectrum. White is, the light, black is, darkness. He doesn't want people to be too far to one side or too far to, he wants it to be more balanced.
It's really funny. Getting a little off topic, but the one of the prevailing, like, spoilers, because I know a lot of people are playing Final Fantasy 14 for the first time, so like skip 15 seconds. Do the skip ahead here real quick if you haven't made it through the DLC there. But the last DLC before the current one was going into the World of Darkness, and it just kind of shown that like you had been Warriors of Light the whole time. Well, this was a world where the Warriors of Light won, and then the light overran everything and consumed it. And so now the only way to save it was to fight it with the darkness. And bring night back to everything. So it wasn't like either one was actually inherently bad, it's the one that ends up running amok who is. Yeah.
I see.
So that's just I know a lot of people in the Destiny community are running through Final Fantasy 14 right now, the MMO, the second MMO, I guess. But so that just, especially with that going on in game in Destiny, I was like, oh, based on what you just said, I was like, oh, they're not so different, you and I.
Yeah.
But speaking of which, the other thing that really strikes me about how she goes after people, later in the text for Shayura's Wrath, which is a submachine gun, she kills a member of House of Light just for being there. The scene begins. A hunter is walking up some steps, and he encounters an Elixir member of House Light, and they're just kind of like chatting about what was going on, and I think maybe they were like maybe meant to meet each other. He's like, hey, yeah, like what was this place? He's like, I don't know, it's human, wasn't here, but like, we got a long ways to go. And then before he can like lead him on, he shrieks because he's getting cut apart by what ends up being Shayura. Like descending down upon them on her own, and it's just like, wow. She's she's just killing people. She's one, like, behaving, but like two, like, killing people indiscriminately.
Yeah.
Like, oh man, and the reason I bring this up, because one thing she asks is, yeah, like, hey, like, that was a non-combatant. He's like, oh yeah, like, I bet it was clinging to Aramis' skirt as she took upon the darkness. Like, what about you? Like, where did you fall? I'm paraphrasing here. That's not a perfect quote. I'm playing off of memory, everybody. But
I have the lore entry open. You're doing pretty good. Pretty good.
thank you. And yeah, that's a little racist. That's very racist. I'm sorry. Yeah, it's not just a little. Like,
What?
one Elixni went after the darkness. So, like, yeah, fuck all you guys. Pow pow pow.
Pretty much.
Ooh.
And she doesn't even call, like, guardians that use Stasis guardians. She calls them agents of darkness. And it's just like, okay.
Or traitor.
Or traitors. And I worry because we haven't really heard a lot. I mean, we've heard a little bit of what happened to her fire team. It seems the rest of their fire team kind of disbanded. Because I know the hunter on their fire team, I'm totally gonna butcher the name here. I apologize. Asha?
Aisha.
Aisha, she's ends up, like, helping the Elixni in the Elixni Quarter. I know Reed. I'm not sure if Reed has been mentioned recently. No, he hasn't been mentioned since.
Well, actually, I take that back. There's a chance she's named after the Yellow Power Ranger, Aisha. A little more drawn out, but almost the same thing. Almost.
I see. But yeah, I'm just worried because Reed was basically the fire team dad of the group. Like, he was, like, caring, which you don't really see a lot in Titans. Most Titans are punchy punch, don't care. So I just worry because we've seen what happened to Soraya. I said her name wrong again. Frack. Shayura. And we've seen what happened to Aisha. We haven't seen anything that happened to Reed, the Titan of their group. But I'm just worried because he's a small. Well, I wouldn't say small. He's a cinnamon roll. No, he's a cinnamon roll. He's very soft, and he was like he got them, like, tea. He made them tea and stuff when they were in the tower. Everyone was being sad, and he's like, I got tea for you guys, and I'm just like, that's so nice.
Did you ever watch Adventure Time?
No, I did not, because I'm cringe.
Okay, well, anyone who did, listeners, like, that description, add us if you agree with me. It reminds me of Mr. Cinnamon Bun.
Yes.
I'm not making fun of it, but, like, that was everything. Like, Titan, so smash, but, like, also very sweet.
That's a little aside, but, like, that's how I, like, portray my Titan as, is they're, like, soft and really, I won't say stupid, but, like, she's a newer light, so she doesn't really know what's going on.
It's like a dodgeball, right? It's kind of soft. You can squeeze it, but once it gets going, it's gonna smack into you.
And it'll be like, well, bam! But anyways.
Yeah, and it stings.
So, with Shayura being compared to Shin Malphur, you think that's inaccurate?
No. Because she's actually murdering. Well, she is actually murdering people. And is that listener? Is that Taylor-B saying that Shin Malphur didn't kill anyone? No. But as we find out, yes. But it's referring to, like, specific to, like, really famous examples of him killing darkness people. This is just one example. Killing Caleb or Dredgen. I forget which Dredgen he was.
Soul, I think.
Yeah, the one that we actually hear him kill in game, we find out that's his buddy, man. He was in with in on him with it from the beginning, and it's all to make an
Yeah.
example, to like create the legend that if you go too far, if you really dive into that hive magic, like too far into the darkness, the man with the golden gun's going to come from you. He's basically turning himself into a Dread Pirate Roberts,
Yes.
so that more than just he can do it, the fear becomes real. And
yeah.
so,
No, I agree.
yeah. What she's doing is actually murdering people. Like, honestly, like, we were talking about this earlier, and I remember you were feeling the same way, but for listeners' sake, like, I think where we're at is that she's actually more similar to Anor, the difference being that Anor doesn't kill your ghost.
She just captures them. Like, it's kind of crazy seeing that, I guess, hearing us talk about Anor and having her be, like, the more chill one. When we first heard about Anor, we were like, oh my god, Anor, she's such a
rogue cop.
Yeah, she's basically a cop taking the law into her own hands. She's like, the law won't do it. The law won't do it, so I'll do it myself. Basically. And, like, I think Drifter was right that the Praxic order as a whole is just a bunch of crazy. There's a bunch of crazies. And I don't say Praxic Warlocks anymore because there's, Sigfrid. He's a Praxic Titan. The only Praxic Titan. I think it's interesting. It's an order of Warlock and one Titan. No hunters.
Was he from the Sunburners? Sunburners? Or no, that's
Sunbreakers.
The Sunbreakers. Yeah, sorry. I think Sunburner, Skyburner is a Cabal thing.
Yes. I think
was he formerly of that house? This is actually news to me.
Think so. Let me look up Siegfried.
That's pretty cool.
Yes. He is. Let me look here. Totally forgot about this guy. Yeah, he's in the Wild Hunt armor, and he's also in the Swarm. I love the Swarm lore is literally my favorite ever.
Yeah,
I love that. It's one of my favorite lore entries because it has we see Shahan actually doing something besides training new lights. And what he hasn't actually like no, he has a golden gun ability that like I want it.
What's his do?
He shot the ground and it made like kind of like a well, but it gave everyone that was in the well golden gun.
Oh shit.
I want that. Like, yeah, it's in the
If you could give your buddies the golden gun?
Yeah, basically what happens is yeah. Da-da-da. Da-da-da.
And were the people he gave it to like non-hunters alike?
Yeah, it was Red Jacks.
He gave it to fucking Robo, so he can give it to literally anyone.
Yeah, literally, like, basically, this is what it says. Like, he pushes the
but he
bulk
couldn't
of his
give it
light
to his fire
into
team.
his weapon.
Sorry.
I know, rip. And then da-da-da-da-da. A warmth envelops the Red Jacks as solar flame imbues and empowers their rifles with golden power. Sean directs the firestorm of golden Red Jack rifles to incinerate every last charging foe. Like, what? I want that. But yeah, no. And then what's crazy is, like, so, basically the gist of this lore entry is that, Shahan is basically pinned. And then Saladin comes in and is like, I'm here to help, don't worry. And this is during, Season of the Chosen. So.
Okay.
That's they're stopping the Cabal and everything. And then, the Red Jacks are there too and helping. And then, Saladin is just like, he just like basically yells to the heavens, now Siegfried! And then one of the Guardian ships flies by and Siegfried just jumps out and just thunder crashes down and just blows everything up. It's beautiful.
Nice.
I just love this lore entry. It's so crazy.
I hope Siegfried has tiger print armor.
That would be great. And what's interesting about Siegfried is Siegfried helped the Awoken deal with the Cryptoliths. And Siegfried also lost the fight against Crow. He got golden gunned by Crow, which was funny.
Good to know what Crow is throwing, though. There's a lot of people saying he had to be he's totally a Night Stalker. I was like, well, I mean, I for one wouldn't be surprised if he ends up being able to multi-class as popular as he is.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Like in and out of game. Like, yeah. But I'm glad he started out on the right side, fellow gunslinger. Pew pew.
Okay, no, he didn't kill Siegfried.
But he beat him with it.
He basically injured him with it and then ran off because he was there kind of investigating the cryptoliths. This was during Season of the Chosen, or Season of the Hunt. So.
Oh, okay, so before he came to the city.
Yeah,
that's why he does it.
That's why he's just like, get away from me, man. I don't know. Are you going to beat me up?
That's a perfect commentary on how it works in the Crucible, too, though, because especially if the Titan's, like, someone's, like, really armored, or, like, certain supers are active, you gotta shoot them twice.
Yeah, because it says it's in the Wild Hunt Gauntlets where it introduces Siegfried as he's the first striker Titan of the Praxic Order. So...
He's a striker, and wow.
Yeah, he's a Titan. He uses Thundercrash and Striker, and
maybe Siegfried didn't disagree.
Yeah, Siegfried's a Chad. I wish I was cool like him, but yeah, he's cool. Siegfried is great. He's crazy, but
Siegfried has a 6-foot pompadour haircut.
He probably does. He does. I understood that reference. That's great. But yeah, no, it's yeah, definitely give like the Wild Hunt armor a read, because it goes through like each armor set is a different story. Like the Titans is the story of Siegfried, the Hunters is I forget who the Hunters is, and then the Warlock is
Aisha. The Hunters was Aisha.
I don't think the Hunter was. I think maybe. I don't know.
I'm sorry. Aisha was the Hunter in this fire team. Sorry.
Yes. Yes. I meant like the Hunter armor, like the Wrathborn.
So there's something I'm wondering, right? And we've never really explored this before, but it's kind of coming up in this conversation, or at least it's piquing some dots attention for me. They're starting to draw some string together. So, 2 Praxic Order are mentioned in the Trials gear at this point, right? The Praxic Order, if I recall correctly, runs or ran itself out of Mercury.
I think so. Let me double check.
I know the Sunbreakers did. For sure, because that's where the mission was. So, where I'm getting with this is, I'm starting to wonder if there's a connection between the Praxic Order and the Cult of Osiris.
I don't think they would be associated with Osiris, because one of their like main tenets is they don't care about understanding the Darkness. They just want it gone. And Osiris and his cult were all about kind of following Osiris and that kind of stuff.
Would you agree they wanted to understand it so they could make it leave?
No.
Well, I don't think. I mean, his whole deal with the Vex, like you
mean the Osiris's cult. Osiris's cult, but the Praxic Order, no.
Right. So the Praxic Order. So like hear me out here. I'm thinking of like a fanatical branch that says like, no, trying to understand them is fucked. You just need to destroy them with Praxic fire.
I could see that. I mean, maybe. I don't know. I feel like...
I have one more thing to add to this. Osiris is famously, in the only real demonstration I can think of, in and out of game, it uses a solar subclass. And it's one of the oldest ones. So, Praxic fire and everything would probably be like a branch or like or at least like a sort of like spiritual cousin to what he did, because when we got it, we were reawakening something old.
Yeah.
And when, I'm just wondering if the Praxic Order are just like, really, really riding that Osiris high and just took it to an extreme, kind of like how, you know how like certain organizations like nonprofits or something in the world that like people have like a negative connotation to now. I don't need to name names because it doesn't need to be that conversation, but like a lot of times there's this like, well, yeah, who it's run by now is actually like not who founded it or was like an early member or something who like ended up like taking control and like turning shit radical.
I don't know.
And
I don't know.
I'm starting to spitball here, but I'm just like, and so don't take this as like facts, but I'm starting to wonder if maybe like the Praxic Order is like this kind of like, no, fuck it, we believe in the Traveler, you're done.
I don't know. I don't think so, because I mean, like one of the I won't say founding members. One of the members was was Ariana 3,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm pretty sure, yeah, she was a warlock, obviously, and she also used the hand cannon Ariana's Vow, which is a solar hand cannon sniper
Canon.
amalgamation. It's basically a sniper hand cannon, which is terrifying.
It's like in the '89 Batman movie, that really long barreled revolver the Joker pulls out of his pants and shoots down the Batwing with. It just, yeah, same idea. It's a handgun, but it shoots really, really far. But without being as comedic. Although that would be a really cool skin. If you just had like a super long barrel on that thing, that'd be hilarious. Sorry, not to derail.
Oh, it's okay. And
Not to
I'm just
derail.
reading the lore about Ariana, and I'm just like, damn, it's sad. I didn't realize that she like basically made it to Crota's throne world, but that she kind of knew that she was gonna die, so she had her ghost record a message from her to Wei Ning, and she told her ghost to take it where Wei Ning died. And it's just like, damn, that's sad. Forgot about Ariana 3's
Wait,
backstory.
so
That
her
was so
ghost is
sad.
still alive?
No, and then her ghost died.
Oh well, yeah. Okay.
Well, her ghost
Um,
died, but yeah.
yeah, I was really in that mission. How quickly she goes from, yeah, I'm like holding up, but I don't know what to do. Like depending, like maybe it's depending on how fast you like play through that transition of speech to like, no wait, nope, I got this. You'll have your crystal. Just like, I'm just gonna die.
No,
And I
no,
was like,
that's not Ariana 3. That's Takeo.
that's Takeo. Sorry, that's right.
Takeo 3.
Ariana 3, it's Ariana's fire team that first tries to go down to the Dark
Yes,
Below.
yeah,
Takeo
it's
3
it's the
is also of
Crota,
the Praxic Order, but yeah,
but more
different
annoying.
character.
Different character. They both end in 3. That's where I understood. But yeah.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, well they both end in 3. They're both members of the Praxic Order, and they're both just like, nope, nope, nope. This thing needs to die at
Well, I
all
mean,
costs.
that's like literally that's the Praxic way. That's how they. One of their like literal jobs is to fight the darkness, find corrupt guardians, and either capture them if they'll come willingly, or kill them if they won't. And they
Well,
want to keep artifacts of darkness out of the hands of other guardians. Like they want to like take the darkness artifacts, put them in a box, lock that box, put that box in a safe, take that box and have the safe guarded at like all times. Basically.
well, I was gonna say, like, going back to the topic and how we were talking about it earlier, it's really interesting because, you know, Anur being the chill one, she seems to be very good and very strict about capturing the ghost, killing the guardian, capturing the ghost.
Yeah, because
And I guess
then
like imprisoning it for however long. It's kind of like putting the guardian on ice, like in a Demolition Man or something. Like instead of prison, you're just like you're frozen, taken out for
yeah,
however long.
I mean maybe
Yeah.
that's what happened to Shirai, because in the lore for the SMG, the hunter who she's stalking, I guess, they're like, I thought you were, what did they say? They said, you shouldn't be here. When did the Vanguard let you out? And she's like, they didn't. I let myself out.
Which is really interesting too. Like, was she captured at some point, or is this more of like a rogue cop moment?
I feel like I feel like it's maybe more of a, because after the events of what happened in Trials and everything else, my assumption is like, she might have been put, I wouldn't say like time out, but like, you know,
like house arrest or something. Like, you
I
can't
wouldn't say
leave
like
the last
house
city.
arrest, but like you just need to just take a break.
You're grounded. No deployments until further notice.
Kind of like that, I think. Like, not under house arrest, but kind of like, basically,
you got this ankle bracelet. You can't leave the city.
You can't leave the last city. I'm sorry, you're under arrest. And she's like, but I am the police. You can't arrest the police. Actually, you can.
Yeah, no, she turned in her badge, but not her gun.
Exactly.
to save her earlier.
Exactly.
So one thing that's really kind of wild about that, though, is like, when did the city let you loose? And it's, you know, I am the police. I'm going to do what I want. It's the second or third time, either live in our face or mentioned in the lore that I think we've talked about tonight alone, where the Praxic Order really is just like, they work with the tower, but also the tower can, I guess, go fuck itself, and they're gonna do what they want?
Yeah, very much. Like, they're kind of they have their own rules that they follow that are very over the top, and it's very cut and dried. It's like, basically, it's our way or the highway, and we're always right, and darkness bad, so we must destroy it. But as we know now, it's not that simple. It's not that simple at all. You can't just, like, there's darkness. For there to be light, there has to be darkness. Ulan Tan was right. I'm telling you, I want that on a shirt. Ulan
Tan was right. Can we put that in Star Wars font? And let's create t-shirts. Let's do t-shirts. Let's put it in a Star Wars font, and let's throw it on our favorite t-shirt vendor.
I dig it.
And it can go to like a Patreon or something. Like, guys, you'll never have to pay for the show, but like, we'll give you some t-shirts as cheap as we can to just help keep it running. Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Yep. Ulan Tan was right, or I think there's a few we could get in there. Especially some of the different topics we've done.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I think like Bray shot first.
Yes.
Well, people won't like that. We should say Cade shot first.
That's funny.
Yeah, right? I want to say that happens, like a similar scene. Not the exact same like Greedo scene, but I want to say something happens like that in the comics. Actually, in Cade 6, when he's like gathering them up.
Yes, I'm pretty sure that's what happens. I'm pretty sure. I read the comics a while ago, so I don't
remember. I read it when I got the book. Yeah.
Ah.
Well, I had read the ones, because I think there's like one or two in there that weren't released on the web.
Yeah.
So like I read it when I got it. Just, I know I've said this on to you before, Lucy, but any new listeners, like, I have dyslexia, dyscalculia, like, lines of text is just difficult. So, like, comics, even from a young age, was actually a really cool way for me to absorb, just, like, literature in general. If someone, like made a comic version of, like, classic literature or something like that, because it's like short bursts of text.
Yeah, no, I get that.
Yeah. Like even when it gets wordy and you just kind of like, you know, the art's great too. Like, I feel like art plus words is always more fun. But like, yeah, that was always a really cool a really cool thing for me. So like when Bungie put out the comics, I was like, yes, I will consume this.
You're like, consume all comics. But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I think they were great.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So yeah, going back, sort of reining us in here, mostly me. I feel like, discussing all that, fundamentally, at least in their methodology and in how they go about achieving their goals, I would say saying Shayura is the next Shin is only accurate if you've only heard the legend of Shin Malphur and not read about what happened behind the scenes.
Yeah, definitely. Do you think Shariah should be redeemed, like how Shin Malphur has?
Well, Shin Malphur was like, I don't know, man. I never really felt like Shin Malphur was
Was redeemed in a sense? I don't know.
Yeah, because it was an
I
act,
meant
right?
like, I mean, kind of. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I just feel like because we have like we have his whole story. We have his whole story now, where it's like it's gone full circle. He's now retired. He gave us. He's like, it's your job now. It's your job. But just
Mm-hmm.
know, if you cross this imaginary line, I'm coming for you. But probably not.
But that's the legend. He's got us
Exactly.
doing it now, and like
Yeah.
that's why he shared the full story with us
Yeah. So
because he
like,
knows we're strong enough to. Sorry. But yeah, I agree.
so I wonder if Shara is going to. I just wonder if she's going to have. I wouldn't say like a redemption, but some sort of. I just wonder what her conclusion to her story is. Like, is she going to still like hunt down people to a point where she is hunting down her old fire team,
I
or something else? I don't know. Because she knows her old fire team uses stasis. Because she saw. Cause that's what happened in at the end of the trials match before she went rogue, so to speak, is basically the gist of the trial match, TLDR version. She was already kind of feeling a little like Stasis bad, and then she during this trials match there was this other Warlock on the enemy team, and they were like using darkness, and she confronted them and like, you're a bad person, and so she shot their ghost, shot them, and
traitor.
shot pretty much called them a traitor. Shot their ghost. Reed and Arisha, I think I said her name wrong again. Aisha, sorry. Aisha and Reed were like, they're dead. You don't need to kill their ghosts. We're good. And she was gonna like, she pulled out her sword and was gonna like, I'm gonna kill him. And they were like, no, stop. And Aisha, she freezes Soraya or Shura.
Shayura is
I
how
keep
I'm.
saying it wrong. I'm sorry.
Well, no.
Shayura.
You're saying you did.
I've said it like
How
three
can I
different
say?
times. I've said it
How can I
three
say this?
different times.
As someone whose name gets pronounced as completely different names sometimes, dude,
Yes.
if you're trying, I am never upset. So we're trying. We're trying, and yeah, that's what's important.
That's the important part, I guess.
Yeah, seriously, like trying to be respectful is, and maybe still messing up is, yeah. Because
okay.
I want to say it right too. Because like I don't want. I hope nobody listening is like, man, that's my name, and you guys are fucking it up right now. So like, I'm sorry, but we're trying.
Basically, the hunter on her fire team used stasis and froze Shayura. And after that, their fire team broke up. And Aisha still uses stasis, but is using it for good. Because she's a nice person. But I just worry that at some point, Shayura is going to be like, you know what? I'm going to kill everyone, even my friends, because they're evil now and use stasis.
Screw you guys, I'm going rogue.
You watch.
Yeah, and that's so wild that they use stasis to freeze her, and then a short time. Well, actually, it's not. But it's not immediately after that, is it? I want to say there's one more. There's one more step where she speaks with Aisha, about. Oof. Let me pull it up here because I just had it.
The only thing that there really isn't after there's a time jump between this and then she hunts for stasis users. That's it. Before that, Shayura and her fire team they watched the Traveler do its reformation at the end of Season of Arrivals. In a trials match after the planets went poof.
What I'm thinking of is right before she goes on her killing spree, but after the match, she and her fire team are present for the Traveler's Reformation.
Yes, but no, there's two trials match incidents. There's the first one, which she has a PTSD induced flashback, and she's back on Titan. And
I'm looking at it now. Yeah.
Yeah. Because basically there was an adventure on Titan where you would fight this deathless knight. No matter what you do, it would still come back. And she had encountered that. This was during the Red War. So she was fighting this knight that no matter how she would try to kill it, it would come back. And she didn't have her light during all of this. So she basically, during the middle of this trials match, had a PTSD-induced flashback, and Reed and Aisha were able to calm her down, and then afterwards they were and she felt bad. She actually felt bad. It's I didn't mean for this to happen. And then they watched the Traveler reform, and Shayura basically she just kind of feels like the Traveler doesn't really care about humanity at all, because it's so much bigger. Not bigger, I mean size. I mean it's on a different level. It's on a different level. Yeah. And then she basically after that event and talking to her friar team, she kind of realized that she needs to defend the last city and the light and the Traveler at all costs. And then from that point forward, she basically made the distinction that, light good, fire team good, darkness bad, stasis bad, and that sort of thing. But she didn't know that her fire team has stasis. And then when she found that, she felt completely betrayed, and this and that. So, basically.
So I kind of have to agree, and I'm interested with Ishtar Collective's sort of synopsis. So sometimes they'll do a synopsis when a character has, for any listener who hasn't visited, it's a great resource. Please go check them out. But sometimes what they'll do is they'll write an educated synopsis of many large bodies of entries surrounding a certain character.
Yeah.
And I kind of have to mostly agree. How can I say this? I yes with an if, or no with a but. But I'm leaning more toward yes with an if. Their interpretation, it's hinted that Shayura and Malphur have met or communicated in some way, based on her response to her being compared to not only a Dredgen but Malphur. Because what she says, they come in many forms. As bile rises in her throat, being compared to a Dredgen or Agent of the Darkness. So I kind of want to submit I wouldn't be surprised if, similar to Anor, she's encountered either copycats, like people Shin basically set up to be singled out because they went too far, or maybe she encountered like his someone still out there in his core group of Dredgens.
Yeah, in the shadows of yore.
Yeah, but it sounds like she hates them in any fashion. She like considers them the same. Like bile rises in the back of her throat.
Well, yeah, I mean, like if you think about it from her perspective, Dredgen Yor was a bad person. He used Thorn. He was an agent of darkness.
Mm-hmm.
The shadows of Yor follow his teachings, and by association, they're also bad, which means anyone who uses the title of Dredgen is bad. So
yeah,
like,
exactly.
I understand her logic. Do I agree with it?
Yeah.
No.
So, but like, yeah, exactly. I 100% agree with that. Would you go so far as to maybe say, if she has run into a Dredgen, it was just like running into a Stasis user for her. Like, it was kind of like, well, I guess you got to go. Like, she's not in on the trick.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It would be. You know how we've toyed with the idea of that Darkness Vanguard?
Yeah.
And because there's that the current one, air quotes, as featured in the Europa expansion.
Yes.
But what makes me wonder is if she's going after anyone and everyone, it really makes me wonder, like, is she so rogue? And it's kind of like a, like the stereotype of like the crazy mountain person. They're just out there in the mountains, like spinning themselves up and making themselves like whipping up their own emotions because they don't have contact with anyone else, so they're just preying on their own fears, like yada yada yada, like crazy mountain man person.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So she won't go back to Earth. Shayura. She only seeks these people she thinks needs to be put down. The only person she talks to is her ghost.
Yeah.
And she kind of gave him the fuck you eyes when he asked if she was going back to, or when they asked if she was going back to Earth. I don't know her for ghost. I don't remember her ghost. It was written with a gender.
Yeah.
Like, I think she might be going like Mountain Man.
She's crazy.
Yeah. She's got nothing but herself and her crazy thoughts, probably fueled by PTSD and like a super fear of being lightless, and the idea that someone could use darkness is like, fuck you, you'd abandon your light, like you're done.
Yeah, no, I don't necessarily agree with her methods or her ideology, but I understand why she's acting the way she is. I feel bad for her, and I want to just give her a hug.
Yeah, I feel like I've used too much stasis. I feel like she might try to kill me, but I can courteously run away. Assuming, like, if my guardian knew everything I knew from reading the lore, like, man, I'm just gonna...
Yeah.
just run away.
Like... See, I don't really use stasis that much. So
it's fun in PvE.
I mean, yeah, but I don't know. I just stick with what I'm familiar with and what I like. And I don't know, because I've been mainly playing Titan in PvE, and Titan stasis in PvE is poo-poo garbage.
I mean...
It's bad. It's bad. I don't like it. It's garbage. I hate it. And then the only Stasis I think is actually good, in my opinion. I mean, Hunter can be good, but I think Warlock is the best for like PvE stuff because of the turret.
The turret is pretty sweet. Hunter for Hunter the super and the class ability still being really like as strong as they were in
Yeah,
PvE.
definitely.
Yeah, like the throwing sickle alone, just like pew pew
Definitely.
pew, like bouncing off like 3-4 enemies. Uh, and I mean, depending on your build, that can give you like other abilities back. Like it's wild. It's a lot of fun. And especially those raw stat boosts.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. That's why I wish the light subclasses had a similar sort of thing, because it's just like
Hmm.
stat-wise better to run Stasis than not, and that makes me
Oh
sad.
yeah, you can get away with some really like I think when I maybe like in an earlier version of my current armor set, like for my neutral game for what I needed it to do, like between mobility, recovery, and just kind of like being a little hefty for a hunter because of what stasis allowed me to do was ridiculous. And then when Backrus came out and I could like just like kind of shift away when I was starting to die, oh man, mid range like avoiding sniper and you know trying to avoid sniper lanes. Like
Yeah.
yeah, that was a lot of fun for me. That was it just played right into my playstyle and I was like, this is amazing. For sure. Okay. So yeah, I just circling back once more. I have a really hard time. I get I get why someone, especially a random hunter who's using stasis, would be like, "You're no better than the Dredgen. You're no better than Malphur." Because I think, like we touched upon earlier, I think all he knows is the legend of Shin Malphur that
Yeah.
Shin curated. He knows about the Boogeyman. He knows about the I Am Legend. He knows about the Dread Pirate Malphur.
About Pirate Alfred. I love it. I
Oh,
love it.
if any friend of the show can meme or draw, or Lucy, if you're already doing it, I would love to see your Dread Pirate Malphur memes.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I can already think of some. I just need to learn. I just need to learn, or maybe like it being shitty will be part of my charm. I'll send you
Beautiful.
some crappy ideas.
Okay.
Lucy, you can tell me if they're good or not. Be like, yeah, that one's good. You should learn how to do it
All right.
right.
All right.
uh, but yeah, I just before we move on to score, maybe even trying to like crank it up to where to like make it work. I think that might be fun to do for this one. Kind of bring that format back. That could be one we fire from the hip at. What do you think?
Sure.
All right. But before I bring it back, I really kind of think, yeah, anyone if you think she's comparable to Shin Malphur, you've only heard the legend of Shin Malphur, and yeah, she's going like she's like Steven Seagal in a movie where he what was that movie? Hold on. Like Glimmerman or something like that. Like she's a cop who feels wronged and is going on the rampage, but she actually can't hold back and has to hurt her stuntmen to do her scenes, much like Steven Seagal.
Got it. I honestly had no idea what the heck you were talking about.
You never seen Steven Seagal movies?
No.
Oh dang. Um,
Like I said, I'm just sitting here just like, I'm so confused.
he's the one who became fat and a sheriff in Arizona or a deputy in
Nope.
Arizona.
Nope. No idea what you're saying.
I'm gonna show you a
I think,
picture of Steven Seagal.
okay. That might help because I'm really bad with names.
Yeah, no worries.
But faces I'm a little bit better with.
All right. So I'm gonna do just a capture of the results here. So most of them are his fatter look, but some of them, some of them are from his movies toward the bottom.
Nope, I literally have no idea what you're talking about.
Like no idea who like what about like Under Siege?
Nope.
Hard to Kill?
Nope.
Okay. I honestly like how can I say this? The movies can be very fun, kind of like in that 80s, early 90s like camp action movie way. Under Siege is actually like a really good movie. Under Siege 2 is ridiculous, but I really enjoyed the first Under Siege. That was a fun one. Bet you didn't expect to have like an explanation of Steven Seagal, listeners.
I'm just sitting here just like, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, no, sorry. But
You're making all these references I don't understand.
That's okay. You gotta rein me in. And I'll know when I'm dating myself.
You're dating yourself. You need to stop.
I know. It's unhealthy.
Stop. Get some help.
Yeah. Okay, but yeah. It's just like over the top. What I was referencing was like Hard to Kill and some of his other ones, for what it's worth, you guys and listener. But going back, she's like a classic rogue cop. Some of those movies played into it. And yeah. Shin Malphur's different. Shin Malphur is I wouldn't be surprised if he'd only killed 2 people his whole life, as it turned out.
I don't
if
know.
Like you finally got the truth. If you finally got the truth. I'm not saying that's what I think happened, but like I'm saying based on his character, everything he's done is to avoid having to kill people. And like the person we heard him kill actually was on his side, didn't actually murder his own ghost, and like gave Shin his consent to
said,
be
hey,
shot.
Sure, do it.
And he was like, "Nah, you don't have to res me. It's cool. But I want you to be okay." Like he made sure his ghost was saved.
Yeah.
How about you?
I think what Shin Malphur and Shayura are doing are similar, and they're kind of going down a similar path. You know, Shin Malphur was fueled by revenge, and Shayura is fueled by, you know, I won't say revenge, but more like anger and a more like abandonment, because she feels like she's abandoned and betrayed by her fire team.
I was just thinking that.
Like, and they both, at the surface level, they both kind of want the same thing. I mean, like, the man with the golden gun, we've all heard the legend. But, like, what goes on deeper below the surface, not a lot of people know. Like, not everyone knows that, you know, the leader of the Shadows of Yore is Shin Malphur. And he's doing this to play both, I wouldn't say play both sides, but
it's it's kind of like in Star Wars when Palpatine's manipulating both sides to get what he wants.
Yeah.
Like he's the Republic and the Trade Federation. Like he's doing both.
Yeah.
And that's what I kind of like. Not that I think Shin Malphur is Sheath Palpatine, but that's what I kind of respect about him. Is like he realized he needed an antagonist, so he just became the antagonist he needed, and then he like publicly like put himself down, but it didn't involve anyone. It didn't like it may have inspired people because he knew those people were always going to be out there. But he like basically like created a deterrent, and kind of like what we were saying earlier, like Shin Malphur being shrouded in mystery and like all these different personas that he's had and these like different facets of the story. You know, someone else showing up if you think Shin Malphur's dead and golden gunning you and then saying like, "Yeah, no, I'm Shin Malphur." Like it's totally par for the course at this point, I feel like.
Yeah.
Oh man.
You want to move into score?
Yeah, let's do it. You want to go first?
Sure. I give this theory 6 golden guns.
6 golden guns? Is it a
Yes.
6-shot golden gun? Is it bottom tree?
Yes, that's why I said 6.
Oh man. All right. Damn, that's my favorite. That's my favorite golden gun subclass. So now I have to pick a different one.
Aha. You've been bamboozled.
I know, you got me. I'm gonna give this one 6 dredgens.
6 dredgens, a whole fire team. Well, I've got
Yeah.
got 6 golden guns. You got 6 dredgens. I got a golden gun shot for every dredgen.
I know. I'm giving it 6 dredgens against. I don't think Shayura is the next Shin Malphur. I think that while she and the persona he created are very similar, she's more like you might say she's like an extreme embodiment of what he was
Shin
trying
Malphur.
to build as like a fear. Yeah, it's like, the man with the golden gun as like a legend, and when like life imitates art.
Huh.
Yeah, like I would say in that regard, yeah, but literally with knowing what we know in the background, they kind of had different stuff.
Yeah, no, I agree.
So yeah, I give it 6 dredgens against.
Okay.
You got any shout outs this week?
Shout outs. No, I don't think so. I can't think of any. I'm bad at them.
I want to give a shout out to Mylan Games and a few other people that commented on
Wait, I do
his
have a
thread.
shout out.
Oh, do it.
No, you go first. Finish yours. I'm sorry.
Okay. I want to give a shout out to Mylan Games and a few of the other content creators and people in his thread who, based on a lot of people's reaction to Shayura, were bringing out a lot of misogyny and like kind of horseshit along with what they had to say. Especially when they were kind of coming from the same place as comparing her to the legend of Shin Malphur.
Yeah.
So like not being fully informed on the stuff. I want to give a shout out to them for kind of calling them out in a public forum on their horseshit. Because like it's one thing to have an idea about a character, it's another thing to lampoon one and praise the other, especially when you think they're doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Or they're about the same thing. Like, come on, guys.
Yes.
Be better.
Yeah, guys. On a similar note, I shout out to all of the Activision and Blizzard people who did the walkout today.
Yes.
For like women's rights and all of the discrimination and harassment and terrible things that's going on there. And to kind of show support for the people who have been like victimized and that kind of stuff. So yes, shout out to them. 10 out of 10.
Yeah. 10 out of 10, we'll shout out again.
Yes.
I 100% mirror that too. The stuff that has come out about the predatory behavior, the discrimination, the ostracization, and retaliatory culture.
It's terrible.
Yeah, guys, if I could add anything to all the things Lucy just touched upon, it's just believe women.
Yes. It's not that hard, guys.
Yeah, like, just believe women. All I have to say about that. Well, with that, everyone, thanks for joining us for this week's episode. Stay safe out there. Be excellent to one another. Stay hydrated. And stay safe. Do your best. Take care of yourself. Treat yourself. You deserve it. Just be nice to yourself, and that'll, helps be nice to others. So, yeah, guys, we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Doodles! That's off, Guardians. That's it for this week's discussion. Have any questions or comments about this episode? You can reach out to us on Twitter @Spinfoil Theory, or write us an email at spinfoiltheory@gmail.com. If you'd like to read our show notes, check out articles, listen to past episodes, and more, be sure to pay us a visit over at our website, spinfoiltheory.com.
The Lore Network.